Well, hello, everyone. This is Heather Picken of heatherpicken.com. If you're not familiar with my work, do me a favor. Go over to heatherpicken.com. Check out my free resources. I have actually a freebie if you go over there, or on my page over here if you're watching on Facebook. And I want to share a little bit about what I do before I go into the topic today. If you're not kind of like, who is this Heather Picken woman? And what's this deal about neuroscience? And basically, I focus on empowering female visionary leaders who tend to be coaches, consultants, service-based providers. I help them to really take what it is that they are so passionate about and break through those limitations around their mind, because marketing is secondary, and create an overall strategy where they can get their vision out there on a bigger scale. And so if you know that you are the number one thing that's getting in your own way, it's not your marketing, you definitely want to listen up. Talking about breaking through those six-figure mental blocks. I was prompted to do this earlier with a conversation that I had with a very highly skilled woman, entrepreneur, and she knew she brought the goods, but she was attracting crappy clients. So that actually will block you from, breaking through that barrier of 100K. And then, of course, another conversation is going beyond that. But today we're just going to focus on what it takes in order to do that. So I want to say, hey, everyone that is joining me today. And, primarily I work with female visionaries. But if you're a male and you're watching this, if you're resonating with my message, then I welcome you to join in the conversation. Now, here's the interesting thing I want to say. As women, historically, we have been trained to play small, not own our power around money and prosperity. And so there's no wonder why we see this issue of deservability when it comes to women, really putting out their message online, building their businesses, whatever it is that you do. I find that there's a huge issue about women being able to receive that, because we've been taught, we've been wired in our brains to think that somehow money is not important. And I have to tell you, I'm going to go off on a rant here on, being a woman, number one, and being a woman entrepreneur and being successful is so important, because you want to be able to rely on yourself. You want to be able to own your power in the area of your money. And if you don't, what happens is that someone or something will disempower you and your choices are limited. So my mission and my purpose on this planet is to empower millions of women all around the world, using business as a catalyst. I go around the 7 areas of life because when we talk about money issues, it bleeds into other areas. But we're going to just talk about those six-figure mental blocks. I typically also work with, brick and mortar businesses, but I tend to focus more on the online space. So if you have a brick and mortar business, realize your success is dependent on how you're showing up and how you're thinking and what you're believing about yourself, okay? And so I just want to say, hey, everyone that's joined me today, talking about breaking through the six-figure blocks. I've actually taken clients way beyond that, but I understand that there's a lot of issues when it comes, when it comes to money and women and owning their power. And you might think it's your marketing, but it's really not. It's really about how you've been programmed, what you've been taught. So what is the fastest way to break through those mental blocks? I actually wrote some steps down. I'm going to walk you through the process. So step number one, hope you're taking notes, is to identify what I call your fabulous. What makes you specifically unique in your industry? I actually wrote an entire book about this. You can go on Amazon, or actually my site, heatherpicken.com, called the Dolce Vita Formula. And why this is important. Why do you want to find out you're fabulous? What makes you unique? Well, think about it this way. There are so many businesses popping up all over online. When I started my online business, I started out in the fitness industry way before Facebook. And I learned how to market and sell my programs. And then what I noticed is that, what was that, a couple years ago, there was an exponential just explosion of other businesses that were kind of similar to what I was doing and just in different industries. So if you're feeling insignificant right now, I want you to pause and I want you to ask yourself this question. What is the one unique thing about me and my business that no one else can do? And you might say, Heather, there's nothing. Everyone's the same. And you're thinking that because your subconscious block is stopping you to find it, okay? I had these blocks myself, so everything I'm teaching you and I teach my clients, it's everything I've gone through before. So I get how it feels when you're looking at everyone else, looking at their beautiful Instagram, and some of those Instagram feeds, I mean, they're amazing, right? How can I compete with that? Well, that's the problem. You're not there to compete with them. You're there to focus on your genius zone. What makes you so fabulous and so unique that you've got the goods? Now, a lot of times I will tell you, clients come to me and they negate themselves. They negate that they have something unique. And I will have to tell you, every single woman on this planet has something unique to offer. I should just say every person that wants to monetize their purpose has something unique they can offer. But all too often, we have been taught by society that no, you don't, right? There's nothing unique. Everything's the same. And you have to just dismiss that. Okay, so forget about the noise. Forget about going on to someone else's fake Facebook page or Instagram feed. This is about you. Okay, I want you to focus on your genius zone. When you do that, what happens is that you will start going to that next sphere of awareness in your mind. This is how your brain works. When you activate your genius, and it's essentially the frontal lobe, that executive center, you start connecting with ideas, people, and resources. Things start being in the flow instead of forcing yourself. So when you're comparing yourself to other people, well, they're more successful or they're more this, they're skinnier, they're prettier, they're younger. It really is a distraction. I want to take a page from Oprah's book, and she did an interview. This is really great. When her show, actually, she was the first African American woman to have a primetime TV show hit #1. And what she did was incredible. But what was interesting is as she got onto the scene, other shows were popping up. And so one thing that was just so important that she said is that I didn't focus on the other guys, meaning I didn't focus on what other people were doing in their shows. I focused on how I could be better, how I could really bring my message out there to the people I wanted to serve. And so all too often, we just focus on what everyone else is doing. We copy and paste, and then we're a carbon copy of what they look like. And so if you just focus on your genius zone, what happens, and your brain is so powerful, I really want you to get this. Your brain is so powerful. If you give it the right command, you'll find your fabulous or your genius, whatever you want to call it, and you will extract that. And then you will be able to market yourself and position yourself in a way that connects and aligns with your ideal paying clients. I am 100% certain of it. And so when I take my clients through the process, they are blown away because it dissolves that comparison, right? It dissolves them feeling like they're not good enough, and they just focus. They're like in the zone. They're in the zone. I used to compete in bodybuilding and fitness, and I'll tell you, there's a zone. When you're focused, when you're getting ready for a competition, if you're an athlete, you get in what's called the zone. The zone is 1000% focus that nothing or no one will get in your way of your vision, mission, and purpose. I am 100% confident in sharing this message because I find people are all over the place and they keep going back to there's nothing unique. I'm going to copy and paste someone and thinking I can duplicate that. And the problem with that, copying and pasting someone, and you know what I'm talking about, the messaging, the marketing, is that it's not going to be you. And what happens is people will pick up on that messaging. It either is going to be a subconscious thing or a conscious thing. It's going to be a disconnect. Okay, so number one, you want to focus on your fabulous. Why are you so unique? What makes you different than everyone else? I usually have clients, think about that. Typically with our first session, we can nail that. Sometimes we refine it and tweak it as we go, but I am very intuitive that I can connect with that right away. And I use, actually, there's a formula that I use that I can find from, basically their timeline of their life of how they've kind of accumulated all of these talents and gifts. So what they're doing right now is in perfect alignment with their timeline. So number one, what's your fabulous? Number two, if you've been watching my Facebook Live, I always say this, is that you got to get clear on your vision. Okay, you might say, oh yeah, whatever, I have a mission statement. Or no, I'm not talking about a mission statement, a marketing thing that you just slap on, your website. What I'm talking about, okay, this is important, a vision that is expansive beyond who you are, so that when you leave this planet, you leave a legacy. Why is that so important? I find when things get tough in a business, and you will always have challenges, okay, so anyone that's marketing push button easy strategies, they're lying. If you want to go even past 100,000, you're always going to have challenges. So I'm not going to be sugarcoating anything. But having a vision that is inspiring, okay, the word inspire means to come from within. It's connected to your subconscious program that automatically fires you up, wakes you up, to really focus on serving other people. So the vision statement is like this living, breathing document that you keep refining and tweaking. And what happens, I want to share with you what happens. It's like, I look at this, it's kind of like inner marketing or spiritual marketing, whatever you want to call it, is that the people and the resources, they line up. They literally, like, it's almost like they were there all along, but you didn't see it. And because you are activating your executive center in your brain, you start seeing it. You start seeing what I call those syncing up events. You start seeing those people connecting with you. And that doesn't mean you're not taking the action. So I don't want to negate not taking action. The action that you're taking is based on your alignment with your vision, that you are crystal clear on your vision. So if you are right now, if you're looking at your business and you're attracting crappy clients, that tells me that you're not clear, and you can course correct that. When you're clear on your vision, mission, and purpose, you start elevating your brand in your mind to the kinds of clients you want to serve. So there's a case study. If you get my freebie on this page, there's a link under my profile. There was a case study of a client, a female client that I worked with. She was a coach. And one of the things that really took her business to making $500,000 was obviously getting out of her own way, her head, right? The strategies are secondary. The mindset is the queen, right? And really being able to master that. But her messaging that was in her vision, or actually she didn't have a vision, so we got clear on that. The messaging wasn't matching what she really wanted to focus on, how she really wanted to show up in the world with the kinds of clients she wanted to serve. So it's a huge disconnect. And so be grateful when you attract those kinds of chaotic clients, those beautiful packages wrapped up in a disaster that are divas, you know what I'm talking about. It's just really there for you to get crystal clear on your vision. So I have this whole scientific process that I've created to map out a vision that is inspiring, that is in alignment, because I find people get burnt out in this business if they don't have that. So that is kind of like your soul's GPS guidance system that allows you to keep going forward no matter what. So I want to say, hey, everyone that has joined me. Yes, Nicoletta and Linda. Hello. Oh, wow. I don't think I've heard from Linda in a while. We'll have to talk later. But anyways, yes, we're talking about six-figure blocks, how to push past that. Number one is identifying what is unique about you. If you just joined, check out the replay later because this is going to be really important. You want to go through step number one. Step number two, we talked about the vision, what I call my fearless visioning, why that's important. This is really key because what happens, because I use neuroscience when I'm working with my clients, is that the brain is a filtering system, as I mentioned before. When you're not clear, you're essentially telling your brain that you don't want clients. You're essentially telling your brain that, you know what, I'm going to take on those energy drains in my business. And so the clearer you are in your vision, you become in alignment, okay? Everyone knows, I hope, what alignment means. Alignment means you are in the flow of your business instead of forcing things. So if you're forcing things right now, if you're struggling, it means you don't know how to put yourself in alignment, and aligning your mind, getting clear on your vision, and allowing yourself to let go of even needing the thing. And that's another conversation in and of itself. But when you're clear on a vision and you can articulate the vision, you will attract and be a match to those perfectly paid high clients, high-end clients. When you're not, what happens is the universe gives you those gifts of clients that don't pay you, or you'll feel like your energy is off. And I'm all about energy. I'm all about like tapping in and tuning my energy. I automatically feel like usually it's in my stomach if I don't feel like I'm in alignment with something. And I really make decisions based on my intuition. Very successful people like Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey, they make decisions based on intuition. So why don't you want to use that powerful guiding force that can support you in what you want to do? Okay, so now let's talk about actually the third thing. Actually, let's go back to the second thing. Second thing, in your vision, now that you know who you are and what makes you unique, in your vision, you also have to get clear of what you're offering your ideal clients, okay? Now, I just kind of wrote down the fastest way to get 100,000 if we're looking in terms of numbers. If you have a high-end service, it's so simple. It's not even, it really is simple when you think about it. Like everything is a formula, right? So I was writing this down. If you have a service, let's just say you charge 5,000. It may be more or less. I'm just taking an average price point. And you get 20 clients, okay? Do the math. What is 5,000 times 20? It's 100,000. Hopefully, if I did my math right, although I was diagnosed with dyslexia, okay? I got to put a little joke in there. But why am I sharing that with you? If your numbers might be more, you might be charging higher or less. But if you don't know, if you can't reverse engineer what that looks like, then it's not going to feel possible for you. This is how your brain's a filtering system. When you have a number in your head and you imprint that, right, and you're clear on your vision, your brain will find a way to get those clients. I found this secret out years ago when I started my fitness business. When I was a fitness trainer and I was with a boyfriend, he was a jerk, but he taught me a really important lesson. I didn't know the significance of this lesson until later in my life. But he said, Heather, if you write down how much you want to make, your brain will find a way to make that number. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And so my goal was to make $10,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to entertain. He's very successful, built $1 million business. And I did the exercise. In 30 days, I was making $10K a month. Back then, that was a lot of money. So it's a simple math formula. I couldn't duplicate that the next month. You know why? Because I didn't understand what I know and I practice and I share with my clients today is that this thing called your brain, if you don't constantly give it the nutrients it needs, give it the right, food, mental food, then you'll start actually going back to a reptilian type of thinking, which is about safety and security. And that's what a lot of women will do. They'll get some success and they'll go back because they don't know how to reprogram their mind and keep it wired for exactly what they want to do. So if you hit your 6-figure mark, then you have to up level your mindset. Okay. So it's a whole nother level. You've heard the thing like new level, new devil. Oh my gosh, I have to like actually close off this last one because I have an interview. So the last one is breaking through your blocks, your limitations, the things that are keeping you stuck. So real quickly, because I have to go, is looking at identifying the fear. What are the specific types of fear that are keeping you stuck from going to the next level? Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of losing someone, fear of not being good enough, pretty enough, young enough. There's actually not a fear of the unknown. There's always a content of the fear. I don't have time to explain that because I literally have to go. But anyways, if this is helpful, if you're resonating with this, click on the link, get my free gift, private message me, let me know where you're at. Let me know if you hit the 6-figure mark and you want to go to the next level. I've helped clients to do that, or if you're still kind of struggling and stuck, love to connect with you to pinpoint what your specific issues are. And that's it. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.